Luis, could you erase that board, please?
All right, so my team and I are going to be reviewing teamwork. I'm Kayla Browning. Over here we have Keller, Danielle, Hunter, and Louise, the assistant lead. Hi, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to be reviewing what is teamwork. Then I'm going to hand it over to Danielle, and she's going to be reviewing the storming stage of Tuckman's model. And then we're going to turn it over to Keller, who's going to go over the norming stage of Tuckman's model. Then Louise will be reviewing the performing stage, and Hunter will be concluding with the morning stage. Teamwork is known to be the fundamental to all human endeavors in a unit of society. It can be seen in schools, workplaces, and even professional sports teams. I will be analyzing various scenarios throughout my portion of this presentation where we can see teamwork in our everyday lives. Teamwork is important because it brings people with mutual goals together. This picture is from the 2008 World Series team when the Phillies were good. So they all excelled in their positions, whether that was Chase Utley fielding a play to Chooch calling a game, and they all had a common goal. Individual contributions are essential to teamwork. You need to contribute equally to the job or pull your own weight. Part of this is communicating effectively and doing your best for your team. Individuals bring diversity, including strengths, weaknesses, and habits. Teamwork is important in the workplace because it creates a sense of unity with your coworkers. This allows for a more enjoyable work environment and one that allows trust and friendship to be created. As HR professionals, promoting teamwork within all departments will make our lives a lot easier. So how do you promote teamwork in the workplace? You can encourage social events, outings, clarify roles and responsibilities, specify goals, and have effective communication. Team building events also encourage employees to work together and to get to know one another. An example of this, as an overview, the first two stages of teamwork are forming, storming, and norming. This picture is an example of storming. Both the dogs want the same thing, so it creates a conflict. The final stages are performing and adjourning in Tuckman's model. The dog and the cat are performing because they are functioning as an effective group to reach the end goal, or the ice machine. The monkeys are also in this stage, as one helps the other monkey get the bugs off. I'm going to let my teammates explain it in greater detail. Forming is the key element that I will be focusing on today. Creating a group, whether this means group projects at school or a new team at work or a new opportunity at a new location, this is when you look for similarities to get to know your team. This is when we try to see who they are and what type of people they are, or even their work ethic. For our team, we began the forming stage of Tuckman's model when we did our Lego assignment. We began to get to know one another's personalities and how to work together in a team. After we got started building with the Legos, we began to find out that we had similarities. Many of us are from the same area, and we even found out that two of us worked at the same location years apart, and that was a really cool experience. Really funny too. A lot of great stories. So I just started at a new job about a month ago, and I had to adjust to my new team, which was challenging. In this new team, I had to figure out the new team dynamic and what the norm was in this new setting. For me, it meant observing my coworkers and watching how they interacted and who did what in the office. One of my first few days on the job, I was invited to sit on a phone meeting with the HR teams from 2 different locations. As someone who is still rather new to the field, I found myself so lost because of all the different abbreviations that are used in HR. I also had to learn new personalities and adapt to my new environment. At the end of the call, the only questions I had written down were what do all these abbreviations mean? My coworkers thought it was funny that I needed to create an HR abbreviation key just to speak HR. If you guys have Professor Domini, he also makes a key for you. During this meeting, I also began to learn a little bit more about my new coworkers. I found that some tended to be talkers and dominate the call. Others seemed to sit back and listen and take notes, while others used this to doodle and drink their coffee. How do you motivate teamwork in the workplace? It's important to implement this in the workplace. There was just a merge of RCGC and the Cumberland County College. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. But my boss often says, we are a team. The merge might be hard, but we're a team, which helps both campuses to kind of make that merge. Communication makes teams successful. Going back to my example of the Phillies, if the catcher did not communicate with the pitcher, they would not be seen as successful. Sometimes you have to let other people make the calls, like let the catcher make the call so that you guys can reach the best goal. Overall, some common goals, communication, and motivation, teams can learn to effectively work together to reach their goal and to be an efficient team. Thank you. Now I'm going to be turning it over to Danielle, who will be reviewing the storming stage of Tuckman's Model.
Hello everybody, my name is Danielle Curry and today I will be focusing on the storming stage of Tuckman's model. So the storming stage is when the team starts to suggest ideas, and if badly managed, this phase can be very destructive for the team. And this stage is also considered to be the make it or break it stage for the team's dynamic and success. In 1965, Bruce Tuckman said that teams go through 5 stages of development: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. And Tuckman said that these stages are all necessary for teams to grow, face challenges, tackle problems, find solutions, and deliver results. The storming stage is where personalities start to clash and team members may shift their focus from the task at hand to feelings of frustration or anger with the team's progress. And this frustration might be directed towards other team members or the group's leader. Team members might disagree over how to complete a task or voice their concerns if someone is not pulling their weight, and they may even question the authority or guidance of the team leaders. And it is important that during the storming stage, the team refocuses on their goal in order to finish the task successfully. So moving along, I've played sports my whole life, but one of my favorite sports that I've played is volleyball. And volleyball is completely centered around teamwork because everyone on the court needs to work as a team in order to win. And volleyball is also a sport where you have to depend on your teammates to stay positive and to avoid conflict on the court. So although it gets tough because everyone has different personalities and different ways of reacting to mistakes, there were multiple times during this season where our setters and hitters would argue because one of them would make a mistake. And this would bring down the rest of the team, causing everyone to be frustrated and angry. In volleyball, after each play, each team huddles in the middle of the court to have a second to bring the energy back up and to encourage each other. Although when there is conflict, those huddles would be used to confront each other about the mistakes. So depending on your personality, this could hurt you and make you more negative and frustrated, which is not helpful for the team as a whole. And in the beginning of the season, our team was in the storming stage for a while due to the fact that we all had to adjust to each other's personalities and opinions. Some teams actually do not make it out of the storming stage, causing there to be tension for the duration of the tasks. but luckily we all figured out how each person reacts to mistakes and we adjusted ourselves. Although conflict can be a negative aspect of teamwork, it can also be positive. So in a positive way, conflict provides each person a voice and an opinion, which is an essential component of effective teamwork. And feeling heard and important are key psychological factors that are linked to inspiring and motivating each other. That being said, it is important that the team stays focused on their goals instead of being distracted by arguing and disagreements. Within the storming stage, cliques and factions can be formed, which may cause power struggle issues. And if there are many members on the team with strong personalities, they may be more likely to argue over who has more power. Compromising is one of the most popular ways of exiting the storming stage, so your team can move along to the norming stage. Compromise may be the only solution to enable progress, although some teams get stuck in the storming stage because no one wants to compromise due to dominant personalities on the team. Moving along, if you and your teammates don't know each other and are meeting for the first time, it is most likely that people will try to make a good impression by being agreeable and flexible. There is also usually a tendency for your teammates to pull their own weight if you guys don't know each other because they're trying to prove that they are a valuable group member. If teammates already know each other or have worked together on teams before, there is a tendency for team members to voice their opinions more. And it is also possible that teammates will slack off and get off topic instead of focusing on the task. And this is bittersweet because it's easier to work with somebody that you already know, but it can lead to more distractions and arguments. So I chose 5 tips to help manage the storming stage in teams. And the first tip is to develop communication skills. Most conflicts become unproductive because of poor communication skills. And without proper communication, people often feel attacked and they become defensive, which will not help the team get through the storming stage. The second tip is to let your teammates storm. Storming can be a painful but productive time for a team. The results of productive storming include increased individual and group pride, confidence, and respect, and it is only necessary to step in if the conflict is becoming unproductive. The third tip is to have one-on-one check-ins with your teammates. And regular individual check-ins are always encouraged, especially during the storming stage. And people will generally disclose more information to you and giving you an opportunity to address individual concerns. The fourth tip is to review the team's guidelines in order to stay focused on the task and get everyone back on track. It is important to make sure every teammate is equally involved so everyone is pulling the same weight. And this is a chance for everyone to see how else they can contribute to the team in a positive way. The final tip is to politely ask your teammates to change their behavior, not their personality. It is important to focus on behavior changes that are needed to reestablish a positive team atmosphere. Obviously, we can't ask people to change their personality, but we can ask them to alter their behavior if they are having a negative effect on the team. Overall, the storming stage can be the most difficult part of the 5 stages of development. Arguments tend to arise while other teammates get their feelings hurt, which slows down the team's progress, and tensions are at an all-time high in this stage. Defensiveness and competitiveness are also very present during this stage. I just wanted to thank you guys so much for listening, and now Keller will be talking about the norming stage of Tuckman's model.
So I'm Keller, and I'm going to be talking about the third stage of Tuckman's model, which is norming. And norming involves the team bonding and developing a group identity. And the members begin to feel that they can accomplish more as a whole than they could on their own. During the norming stage, the team gets to know each other better so they can ask each other for help. They provide constructive feedback, develop stronger commitment to the team goal, and then there's a visible good progress towards that team goal as they're communicating and helping each other grow. In the norming stage, teams become productive as ground rules are established. The team members organize to work on tasks and reduce conflict. and the differences of the team members are discussed and negotiated constructively so they don't go back to the storming stage. Ideally, the team members are engaged and supportive and recognize individual and group efforts because both are involved in the team and the roles are understood in the team. And then there is a commitment towards the team goals as they can work both separately and together. Social relations develop to create a team identity, and team interactions are based on trust and support. So like this pair, the most productive team functions as they support and help each other, and so not every person is by themselves, so the one can lift their other team members up. And teams begin to trust themselves as they accept the vital contributions of each member, both individually and as a whole, and they start to recognize that they can accomplish more together than they can on their own, so they form together like little puzzle pieces. And during the norming stage, a team develops cohesion and forms a united whole so they can work together to optimize the team process. The team continues to recognize others' contributions and they work towards the team goal together. Everyone is contributing and working as a cohesive unit. So when my coach needs to rally us as a team, he always uses the same story. And he says you take one pencil and you can just snap it with no problem. Or you take two and it gets a little tougher. When you get a whole box of pencils, you can never break it. So when a team is strong and united, you can't break it. But if you separate, you're just going to break yourselves. And then this is my team. And so we are track and field. And to function as a track and field team, it's unique because there's so many different components and events. And we can't be successful if we're not working all together and all contributing our own individual events. And it's crucial for us to establish the ground rules and habits and norms in the beginning, like coming to practice on time, so we can build a bond to grow a stronger commitment to the team goal of winning our conference. So that sets us up for the fourth stage of performing, where we need to be at the end of the season. And then in the norming stage, we begin to recognize individual and group efforts, and we understand we cannot function on our own. So we can't just function as a single event. So we wouldn't be a team if we just had jumpers, and we wouldn't just be a team if we had throwers. So you need all of the units to come together to build a team. And in the norming stage, we begin to provide learning opportunities and feedback. So we need to support each other to remain engaged and supportive. So ideally, the captains can step back at this moment as the individuals become more independent and responsible on the team. And then in the norming stage, we begin to move away from the storming and towards a harmonious working practice with the team and agreeing on rules and values. So just like the little happy dogs, the teams are at peace together and sharing responsibilities. Just a smile and sharing the toy between them. But occasionally there's an overlap during the norming stage and you fall back to storming because we're people and there's conflict is pretty common. But since you already were in the norming, it's easier to come back once you fall into storming because you can know how to work with each other more, and the new cohesive interpersonal relationships help. So my team has this problem too, because naturally we also will have some conflict and tension arise when there's a break in our rules or habits, like people coming to practice late. So then there was tension on how to handle the situation, but because we already developed a bond, we could come back. And then since we have a better interpersonal relationships on the team, it was easier to respond to the storming and go back to norming because we were there previously. And then we became each other's biggest supporters again, which is crucial when you're in the norming stage. And while you're norming, a team is still getting into the groove and preparing to move into the performance stage. So support is key, and you should always be your team member's number one fan. And as the teams become more self-sufficient, leaders can step back and they monitor the energy of the group to keep the team in the right direction. The leader's goal in the norming stage is to also make sure the team doesn't become complacent and lose the drive or creative edge that brought them to the norming stage, and they can stay on track for these team goals. So they just continue to monitor for burnout and keep their eyes on the prize for the team goal. So to recap, that the norming stage is crucial turning point between storming and performing, so you can establish clear roles and responsibility on teams and help recognize each other's members' contribution and importance, and members can stay engaged and supportive, and they can keep away from tension and just keep building up. So you want to stay away from storming and moving into your fourth stage. So now Luis will come and discuss the fourth stage of Tuckman's model, which is performing.
Hello, everyone. My name is Luis. So I'm going to talk about stage 4 of the Tuckman's model, which is the performing stage. Just for a recap, forming is when the teams come together. Storming is when conflict begins. Norming is when the team resolves their differences. Then they go into the performing stage. The team is more strategically aware, and the team knows why they are doing what they are doing in stage 4. When the team reaches the performing stage, or stage 4, is when the hard work leads without friction, and the goal is set, and each work member works for the goal, meaning structures and process support each one's goal, which is all the same. There's a clear and stable structure, and members are committed to the team's mission. Problems and conflicts still emerge. They're dealt with constructively to meet that set goal that's shared with everyone. The team is focused on problem solving and meeting team goals. The picture above is an example of meeting team goals and performing to win. At first, I thought it was a tug of war, but it looks like they're pulling something down, so like a tree or something. But we're all working together to pull or to win, accomplish a goal. This is the easy stage, the team stage, and people who join or leave won't normally disrupt any performances or performance of any individual, since there's a set structure and process within the whole group. The team works in an open and trusting atmosphere. Flexibility is the key, and hierarchy is of little importance in this stage. Again, there's one goal, so they all work together to meet it. Don't pull out lead. NASA Apollo 11 is a great example of a team that came together and changed the world. Even though it was Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, Michael Collins, they're the face of the team, they wouldn't really be able to accomplish this goal of landing on the moon if it wasn't for the team behind the scenes supporting them. The support team are the ones that performed the duties. I'm sure everyone else was faced it as well, but behind the scenes they make sure the mission was a success. That they perform their duties to accomplish the same goal or mission. As mentioned before, cohesion is a state in which members possess bonds that link them to one another or the whole group. This helps build trust and increases performance. As the pictures above, you can see that the bad, they're really just talking to one person, but the good cohesion, everyone's talking to one another and they're all working together. A perfect example would be the U.S. women's soccer team. They actually, if you ever watch them, they actually come together and perform well, and they actually win. They literally work as a team, as a unit, unlike the men's soccer team, which is just straight garbage. This is a personal story. This is my soccer team from Riverside High School. Don't know how long ago that was, but this wasn't the whole team. This is about like a third of it. That's me over there with the arrow, walking away for some reason. I'm thinking this was a senior year, but I'm going to use senior year as my example. Senior year, we broke a school record for not winning at all. We were so bad that we didn't perform any of our goals. We didn't do anything. We did tie once though, which we considered a win. This is a perfect example of a team that was stuck in the storming stage of the Tuckman's model. We really didn't ever pass that. I mean, individually, we were all right with each other, but once on the field, we really didn't do anything except really fight each other, hit the ball. We never really did anything with it. Our team leader, our coach, was also very bad, straight terrible. She would often leave halfway through the games. She didn't like what she saw. So it's kind of frustrating being on the team, on the field, trying to win, looking over and not even seeing a coach there. So that was pretty bad. Another example is when I worked at Merrill Lynch. I only worked there for 4 years, and it's pretty bad. We had these things called ASAPs, which were like transfer requests that had to be done by end of year, which was December 31st at 8:30 p.m. There were so many that the managers had to set up teams every week, different teams, just to fight the quantity of ASAPs. We would get an email stating that the team we were in, and it was a rather big department that had offices in Florida, in India, but primarily worked in Florida to the time zone. We didn't know each other, so we had to get all together through Skype, plan together, and just tackle the high volume of ASAPs. After that, we all had separate assignments to complete. And once one was completed, we would get in touch with our team members to help someone else clear their ASAP queue. For example, the performing stage, because by December 31st, all of the ASAP queues have been cleared. So to conclude, the team is more strategically aware. The team knows clearly why it is doing what it is doing. The team has a shared vision and is able to stand on its own feet with no interference or participation from the leader. There's a focus on overachieving goals, and the team makes the most decisions against criteria agreed with the leader. So to pass it over, I'm going to pass it over to Hunter now. He's talking about stage 5 of the Tuckman's model.
Hi everyone. I'm gonna wait for my slide to pop up, but I hate silence, so I'm gonna just talk a little bit. I don't remember putting that many notes. All right. Anyways, I'm talking about the 5th stage in Tuckman's model. So it's adjourning. It's also known as mourning or transforming in some circles. This is because many times conclusion with successful groups time together can harbor feelings of melancholy because, if you work together well, you would like to continue working together, but unfortunately that can't always happen. But anyways, in this stage, the project's coming to an end, and soon the team will go their separate ways. The stage is more focused on the well-being of the team and their personal relationships amongst each other more than, managing the team. It's time for reflection, recognition, and evaluation of the group's time together. So the team generally moves to the adjourning stage by one of two ways. Either A, the team has completed their project or all their goals, or B, an organizational restructuring can force the team into this phase. If people are moving to different departments, buildings, break the team up. More from that will lead to mourning, which is part of the reason why the group's stage got more than one name. The team leader needs to ensure that there is time for the team to celebrate the success of the project and to capture best practices for future use. The leader should consult each of the group members and ask what they think went well or poorly for the group. If the project was unsuccessful, then it is all the more important to evaluate what happened and try to figure out, a way to make sure it goes much better next time. This also would be the best time for everyone to say goodbye and wish each other luck in their next endeavors. Exit interviews or conversations are definitely a good idea to have amongst the team members. If the team reaches performance status, it's likely that you guys are friends and you'll probably keep in touch after the group adjourns. It's important that everyone reaches closure at this point and to try to do it in a positive fashion. You don't want to burn bridges. You might work with these people again. Say your goodbyes and share encouraging words if you have any for each other. Group members can feel a sense of loss at this time or even be demotivated. They could be very nervous or anxious about moving to work with another team. So one way to counteract this is by giving recognition. Proper recognition and celebration is effective tools to foster transition, which is, I guess, why some circles call it the transformative stage, because, you're molding your group to go forward to their own projects after that. anything positive you can give your team members. You definitely want to recognize things that they did well, and if they didn't do it well, give them, a little nudge so they can try to improve on that. Some type of event is generally the best way to accomplish these goals, and adding to a sporting event, a group-centric activity like an escape room or a simple dinner are all good options to do this. Something calm and relaxed so that everyone has, ample time to be social with one another. Another reason why the adjourning stage is so important is because of reputation. All group members will have a more positive opinion of each other if the project concludes on a positive note. Especially important if any members have to work together again. Reputation is apparently all we have in the business world, so the better you get along with your teammates, probably the better reputation you'll have. There are observable traits for effective teams. These points are important to touch on when evaluating or reflecting upon a team. Reviewing them as efforts by individuals can lead to additional ways to provide constructive criticism or recognition. The team should exhibit clear communication amongst all members, regular brainstorming, and meetings in which each group member participates. No one should be left unheard or without input. It's important. You want to hear, like Luis touched on earlier with cohesion, you would like to have a point of contact with every member of the team. You shouldn't, leave anyone out or not value anyone's input, maybe because you don't get along. Everyone needs to work together. There should be a consensus among team members. Everyone should make an effort to be on the same page. And if you're lost, don't be afraid to get some clarity. Stay in touch with your teammates. Ask them what's going on. As long as you're on the same page, everything's going to move much smoother. Meetings on a regular basis are definitely a way to have that happen. Members should be conscious of timely handoffs between each other. This fosters goodwill and helps to ensure that the project is progressing in the proper direction. This can also mitigate obstacles because if one is one encountered, it's easier to overcome if you're more mindful of these. Lastly, the team should show a commitment to the project and their team members. Be supportive and treat each other with respect and positivity. This combined with the other behaviors should ensure an effective team. Regarding each other with respect, you're more often than not, you're going to have a better relationship with each other than, if you're a curmudgeon. So although the adjourning and mourning process is different from the remainder of the stages, it's no less important. The process of reflecting is important for growth and for closure. Whether a project was a success or failure, a well-handled adjourning of the group can ensure that each member walks away having learned something. Growth is always good. So for my personal story, this was a rec basketball team I was on. You see me smiling sarcastically in the background. And to my left are my best friends, Ben and Jules. I'm not going to name anyone else because this is an example of an awful team. So basically, me and my best friends I mentioned there, we're avid basketball fans. We've played for years. We love the game. We try to play weekly. So that's some other friends. This was another time we were playing. Anyways, our team could not come together because, the three of us had a good communication relationship. So we would always work together, tell each other how to improve, what we could do to make things better. But we didn't extend that to the rest of our team. We tried for the first couple games to have talks with other team members. One guy was about 5'8", like to try to block everyone like he was 6'8". But, sending people to the foul line was his specialty, I guess. As you can tell, it wasn't a good team because I got nothing but bad things to say about these other guys. But basically, we did not come together. We probably gave it 2 or 3 honest efforts to get the team to work together, and we just could not get it done. We even had a couple of members end up quitting because they just they were all right with wasting money than coming out and trying to work together as a squad. So basically, don't do that. You're not gonna have a good team. You gotta communicate with each other. You gotta work together. Be positive. Don't do what I did. Anyways, thanks you all for listening, and let's enjoy the rest of this class. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure, but it's a negative term. I'm pretty sure.
What? Did you say curmudgeon?
That's a good word.